Do you think November's election matters for your retirement? Let me show you something that will change how you see politics forever. Both candidates, both parties, have already agreed on one thing. They're coming for your retirement money. And they don't care which side you vote for, because the outcome for your savings is exactly the same. What I'm about to reveal isn't conspiracy theory. It's voting records. It's tax documents. It's public financial disclosures that nobody bothers to read. And by the end of this message, you'll understand why the biggest threat to your retirement isn't Democrats or Republicans. It's the bipartisan agreement between them to extract wealth from seniors while pretending to fight each other. I'm going to share 4 critical wisdoms about what's really happening. And the 4th wisdom is the most important because it reveals who's actually making the decisions that will destroy your retirement, and it's not who you think. So don't skip anything I say. Every piece connects. Drop your state in the comments right now. I want to see where seniors are watching from, because this message matters whether you're in a red state or blue state. The theft is bipartisan. And while you're there, like this video and subscribe, because what I'm sharing gets buried by algorithms that protect the same politicians I'm about to expose. Before this message ends, you will understand the real truth about how November's election affects your money, why both parties are lying to you, and what you must do to protect yourself before the post-election period when they always strike. But you cannot skip any part of this. If you miss one section, you won't understand how deep this corruption goes. Let me start with something simple. A question. Do you know how much money Nancy Pelosi is worth? She's been in Congress for 37 years. Her salary as Speaker was $223,000 per year. Take a guess at her net worth. Drop your guess in the comments. Here's Mitch McConnell. Senate for 39 years. His salary? $193,000 per year. Guess his net worth. Chuck Schumer. Senate for 24 years. Same salary as McConnell. Guess his net worth. Now here's the reality. Nancy Pelosi's net worth is estimated at $114 million. Mitch McConnell, $35 million. Chuck Schumer, $75 million. On government salaries that total maybe $10 million over their entire careers. Where did the other $100 million come from? And this is where the first wisdom becomes critical. Protection wisdom 1. The political theater is designed to distract you while both parties rob you together. Here's what nobody tells you. Every major bill that hurts seniors passes with bipartisan support. Every single one. They fight on TV about culture wars, but when it comes to rating your retirement, they vote together. Let me give you specific examples with real voting records. 2023. A bill that raised prescription drug costs for Medicare recipients. How it passed? 89% bipartisan support. Democrats and Republicans voting together to make your medicine more expensive. They screamed at each other on CNN and Fox about everything else. But when Pfizer and Merck needed higher profits, unanimous agreement. 2021, a bill that changed required minimum distribution rules. Translation, they changed the formula so you're forced to take out more money sooner and pay more taxes on it. How did it pass? 76% bipartisan support. Both parties voting to extract more tax revenue from your 401k. 2020, the CARES Act bank bailout, they gave trillions to corporations. You got a $1,200 check. How did it pass? 100% bipartisan support. Every single Democrat and Republican voted to transfer your wealth to corporations. You see the pattern? They fight about statues and bathrooms. But when it's time to take your money, perfect unity. And here's why. Follow the money. Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, is a venture capitalist and options trader. His trades are legendary. He buys options in companies right before Congress passes bills that benefit those exact companies. 2021. Paul Pelosi bought millions in Microsoft call options. 3 days later, the Pentagon awarded Microsoft a $10 billion contract that Nancy's committee approved. Coincidence? 2022. Paul bought millions in Nvidia stock. 2 weeks later, Congress passed the CHIPS Act, giving billions to semiconductor companies. Nancy voted yes. Her husband made millions. This isn't illegal. You know why? Because Congress exempted themselves from insider trading laws. You or I do this? Prison. They do it? It's called investment savvy. Martha Stewart went to prison for insider trading on $60,000. Paul Pelosi makes millions, and it's perfectly legal because his wife writes the laws. Mitch McConnell? After he left his Senate leadership position, he got appointed to multiple corporate boards, pharmaceutical companies, defense contractors, banks. Combined board compensation? Over $2 million per year for attending 4 meetings. That's not a job, that's a delayed bribe. These companies knew McConnell was delivering votes for their interests while in power. The board seats are the payoff after he steps down. And it's legal, completely legal, because they wrote the laws that make it legal. You want to know why prescription drug prices never go down? Because the same politicians promising to lower them are getting paid by the companies that make them. Let me show you something even more disgusting. Congress has its own pension system. After just 5 years of service, they're eligible for a pension that pays 70% of their highest salary for life. For life. You work 40 years and get Social Security that barely covers rent. They work 5 years and get $130,000 per year forever. But it gets worse. They also have a separate retirement account called the Thrift Savings Plan. It's like a 401k, but the government matches their contributions at twice the rate yours gets matched. And the fees? Almost zero. Your 401k charges you 2% annual fees that eat 30% of your retirement. Theirs, 0.02%. They also have taxpayer-funded healthcare for life. Premium-free. Full coverage. Meanwhile, they're cutting Medicare and raising your premiums 21%. They're voting to restrict your coverage while they have unlimited government healthcare forever. Do you see it now? They're not serving you. They're serving themselves. Now let me tell you what's coming after November. Every election cycle follows the same pattern. Before the election, both sides promise to protect Social Security, protect Medicare, protect your retirement. After the election, lame duck session. That's the period between November and January when they pass the ugliest bills because nobody's paying attention. 2016 election. What happened in lame duck? They passed a bill that cut Social Security benefits for public sector retirees. 2020 election. What happened in lame duck? They passed changes to required minimum distributions that force you to take more money out faster. Every single cycle. They wait until after you vote, then they rob you. And November 2025 will be no different. Here's what's already drafted and waiting. A bill to implement means testing for Social Security. Means testing means if you saved money in a 401k or IRA, they reduce your Social Security benefits. You played by the rules, you saved, now you're punished for it. The bill has bipartisan sponsors, Democrats and Republicans together. They're just waiting until after the election to pass it. There's another bill ready to go. Mandatory annuitization of retirement accounts over a certain threshold. Sounds technical. Here's what it means. If you have more than $500,000 in retirement accounts, the government can force you to convert it to an annuity. Translation? They take control of your money, give you a fixed payment, and if you die early, they keep the rest. Your kids don't inherit it, the government does. This bill was written by insurance company lobbyists, the same insurance companies that donate millions to both parties. It's not about protecting you. It's about transferring your wealth to insurance companies that kick back donations to politicians, and it has bipartisan support. They're just waiting for you to stop paying attention after the election. Tell me in the comments, are you starting to see the pattern? Type I see it if you understand how both parties work together against you. Or tell me more if you need more evidence. Here's Chuck Schumer. He represents New York. You know who his biggest donors are? Wall Street banks, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Citibank. Over his career, they've given his campaigns $40 million. Now guess what happens when Wall Street needs a bailout? Schumer delivers. Every single time. 2023. Banks made risky bets and lost billions. Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. Did the shareholders and executives face consequences? No. Schumer pushed through a backdoor bailout using FDIC funds. Your deposits ensure their gambling losses. And he called it protecting the economy. He was protecting his donors. But here's the bipartisan part. Republicans did the same thing. Another bank failed in Texas. Republican senators from Texas pushed the same bailout. Both parties. Same script. Different states. Your money bails out their donors. This isn't Democrat versus Republican. This is politicians versus you. Now let me show you the pharmaceutical industry. Drug prices in America are 3 times higher than Canada or Europe for the exact same medicine. Why? Because pharmaceutical companies donate to both parties equally. Pfizer gives millions to Democrats. Merck gives millions to Republicans. They don't care who wins, they own both sides. Every year, both parties promise to lower drug costs. Every year, they don't. You know why? Because lobbyists from Big Pharma literally write the bills. The pharmaceutical lobby employs former congressmen as lobbyists. These ex-politicians go back to their former colleagues and hand them pre-written legislation. The congressmen introduce it. It passes. Drug prices stay high. Everyone gets paid except you. 2022. Medicare negotiation bill. Sounds good, right? Let Medicare negotiate drug prices. Except buried in the fine print, it only applies to 10 drugs. 10 out of thousands. And it doesn't start until 2026. And pharmaceutical companies can raise prices on everything else to compensate. The bill was written by pharmaceutical lobbyists. Both parties voted for it. They went on TV and claimed they lowered drug costs. Your prescriptions cost more now than before the bill passed. This is the game. They pass bills with good names that do the opposite. The Affordable Care Act made insurance more expensive. The Inflation Reduction Act increased inflation. The Senior Protection Act made seniors more vulnerable. They count on you not reading the bills. They count on you watching the theater instead of tracking the votes. Protection wisdom 2. Both parties serve the same corporate masters who fund both sides. Pharmaceutical companies donate equally to both sides. Pfizer gives millions to Democrats and millions to Republicans. Why? Because they don't care who wins. They need both parties to keep drug prices high and block generic competition and prevent medication imports from Canada. Both parties deliver. Same with banks. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, they all donate to both sides, equal amounts. They need Democrats to bail them out when they fail. They need Republicans to deregulate them so they can gamble. Both parties deliver. You lose either way. Defense contractors? Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon, billions in donations to both parties. They need both sides to vote for wars and military budgets and weapon contracts. Both parties deliver. Republicans call it national security. Democrats call it job creation. Either way, your tax dollars go to bombs while they cut your benefits. This is the game. Corporations don't care about red or blue. They care about green, money. And they've figured out the cheapest investment in the world is buying politicians. Donate a few million to campaigns. Get back billions in favorable legislation. And here's the really sick part. When politicians leave office, where do they go? Corporate boards, lobbying firms. They get paid millions. It's legalized bribery with a time delay. Vote the right way while in office, get paid after you leave. Eric Cantor, Republican House Majority Leader, retired, now on Wall Street making millions. Barney Frank, Democrat architect of financial regulations, retired, now working for a bank he was supposed to regulate. They all do it. Both sides, they vote against your interests while in power. They profit from those votes after they leave. Protection wisdom 3. The post-election lame duck period is when they pass what they hid from you. November to January. After the election, before the new Congress starts. This is when they do their dirtiest work. You're not paying attention anymore. The election is over. You're focused on holidays. They're passing laws that rob you. Historical pattern is clear. Every post-election period, they target seniors. Every single one. The bills are already written. They're sitting in committees waiting. November 6th, the day after the election, they start moving them through. The means testing bill I mentioned? Ready to go. The mandatory annuitization bill? Ready to go. A bill to raise Medicare premiums another 15%? Ready to go. A bill to change Social Security formula to reduce COLA? Ready to go. All bipartisan, all waiting for you to look away. And here's what makes it worse. International coordination. The IMF, the World Bank, the G20, they're all pushing countries to extract wealth from retirees. It's global policy. 15 countries are implementing similar measures at the same time. Your politicians aren't coming up with this independently. They're following an international playbook written by economists who decided seniors have too much accumulated wealth. This brings me to the fourth and most important wisdom, the one that changes everything you think you know about power. Protection wisdom 4. The real decisions affecting your retirement aren't made by elected politicians. They're made by unelected bureaucrats you can't vote out. Federal Reserve, unelected, unlimited power over your savings through interest rates and money printing. Treasury Department, unelected, can freeze accounts, change regulations, implement policies without congressional vote. Banking regulators, unelected, write the rules banks follow. IRS, unelected, interpret tax law however they want. These bureaucracies make more decisions affecting your money than Congress does, and you can't vote them out. They serve regardless of which party wins. The Federal Reserve destroyed 40% of your savings purchasing power by printing trillions. Nobody voted for that, nobody approved it, they just did it. Treasury can implement new banking rules that restrict your withdrawals. They don't need Congress to pass a law, they just issue new guidance. Banks comply or lose their licenses, your access gets restricted. Nobody voted for it. This is the real game. Elections are theater. The real power is in unelected agencies that operate regardless of who wins, and those agencies are staffed by people from the industries they're supposed to regulate. Former bank executives regulate banks. Former pharmaceutical executives regulate drugs. Former defense contractors regulate weapons. It's a revolving door. Corporate executives take government jobs, write favorable regulations, then go back to their industries and profit. Or government bureaucrats leave to join the industries they regulated. Either way, they serve corporate interests, not yours. Your vote in November changes which face is on TV. It doesn't change the policies that will raid your retirement. Those policies are being written right now by bureaucrats you've never heard of in agencies you can't influence. And both parties support it because both parties benefit from the same system. So what do? First, understand you can't vote your way out of this. Second, protect yourself outside the system. Diversify your assets where bureaucrats can't easily reach them. Build resilience that doesn't depend on government promises. Create community networks that can support you when institutions fail. I've exposed how both parties work together to rob you. I've shown you who controls them. I've warned you about the post-election period. And I've revealed the unelected bureaucrats making the real decisions. Now you know the truth. The question is, what will you do with it? Drop your comment right now. Type "I'm awake" if you finally understand the game. Or "what now" if you need specific actions. Share this with every senior you know. They deserve to see what I just showed you. Subscribe and hit the bell because my next video reveals the exact steps to protect your assets from what's coming. The election is theater, the theft is real, and time is running out.